Hello, everyone. This is, again, Samuel Alexander, and I will be reading the second poem featured in my novel, obviously. I'm going to leave that there. A little stole won't kill anybody. From my series called I See Things in Blue. It's the first in the series titled Dario, which you will likely already know if you purchased the book, and this is how you found the link. And if you just found me randomly, now you know. Briefly, because I didn't explain it in the introduction, is that Dario literally suffers from anxiety and depression, and the story travels from him. It starts when he's 5 and ends when he's about 27, but the bulk is in high school, so it's a high school from up to young adult story that deals with slightly heavy themes that I try to massage into being acceptable for the age group that the characters actually are. They spend the most of their time actually in between 17 and 18, so the very last year of high school takes up the biggest chunk of the story, which is in book 7. But we're reading from book 1, so that doesn't really matter. But now you know, because all of the poems are going to live in the spectrum of self-doubt, finding yourself, and depression and themes like that, because that's literally all I know what to write about. So now that we've done that, again, Samuel Alexander, reading the second poem from my series, I See Things in Blue, Book 1, Dario. This poem is titled Sunset. I look out my window to see the sunset. What's the splendor of the colors as they melt together, a symphony of vision that plays its music on my mind, plucks on the heartstrings of serenity, strums on the pulse of desire, trickles through the windmills of my mind on the wind chimes of delight, runs across the keys on notes low and high, playing chords of all kinds on the memories of my life. All the good and bad moving together in harmony on a river where you can't tell its start from its end. Each note belongs to the next on the heart's tune of experience. Then there's the moan of sadness, smooth as water untouched, with a calmness that rises on the heartbeat of hope as the violins continue to slide with my emotional tides. Then a playful yet smooth infusion of spontaneity on the acoustic rhythms of Spanish guitar dancing across the footsteps of my soul. The percussions beat with the anticipation of the future, the anxiety of the past, the hurt, pain, and love of the present, running around the fields of uncertainty where the tall grass hides my past from here to there, as the flute joins in to keep my hope floating. On the fast and twirling runs, I find acceptance in the unknown, as the trumpets sound to signify there's room to grow. I rise higher as the orchestra takes me on a crescendo and soar through the clouds on musical winds. On an allegro of light and happy wind beneath my wings, I flap to the sound of joy each breath brings. Then there's a sudden cadence while the gong signifies lightning. I'm struck and fall to the ground in a long decrescendo. Then a few bars of silence as I lay on the ground before the violins return singing a sad tune in minor key, an adagio that puts me at ease. Even though the chords of this tune may not be the best, these violins blend well with the piano and prove that there's hope yet. Then in softly comes the flutes on the winds of time once again, playing the wind chimes in the avenues of my mind. The percussions beat softly, giving me the strength to get up and move along the rivers, flowing with the melodies of the harp. The trumpets hum softly in the background, and I realize today that the sky holds gray clouds. I cannot see the sun's demise. And as the last movement comes to its final, I still don't regret my living in the West. I close my eyes and let the symphony re-arise as I look at the sunset on the music sheets of my mind. Okay, well, that was interesting. You know, I honestly haven't read these since I plopped them in the book, and before then it was a very long time since I revisited them. But the task of finding poems that match the book and the character, because the character, the first few books are character names, kind of forced me to read quite a bit of my poems. I have a lot of them, and most of them may never see the light of day unless I can make it make sense. So this one, we used to have a window that looked out over the ocean, and we live on the west side of the island, and I don't know. I was, used to be a classically trained piano player, so there's something about music and poetry that makes sense. So here we are. That's where this poem came from. And that's it for this one. So if you're still here and you didn't drop off, thanks for stopping by.